Okay, I assume I'm live now. I had to actually press go live on YouTube. I can't just press it from OBS, I guess. And I guess I'm technically live now. See how latent or how much latency this stream has. So how is everyone? Hello, Maryland, Dennis, iCash O. Okay, yeah, let's scrolling really fast here. How do I stop that? Turn up the mic. Okay. Can turn that up a little bit, I think. And that's as loud as it goes. That is as loud as it goes, my friend. Carlos, I notice you. Thank you, Rob's Memory Lane. 8 years. Well, thank you for watching all the way from the beginning. I assume you're still watching because that's a lot of stuff to watch. A lot of bad stuff, but a lot of good stuff too. Turn your mic up to 1000%. Unfortunately, it only goes up to 00 dB. I will move it a little closer. How's that? Can y'all like turn up your volume? What's the RX on your glass? I don't even know what that means. What is the RX on my glass? I assume that means prescription. Thank you, Clint. Thank you, Jake. Any idea on Streets of Rage 4 release date? I have no idea, but I did pre-order that. The physical one for PlayStation 4. Thank you, Rob. I'm glad you noticed that. Sometimes I feel like my editing goes unnoticed, but that's actually a good thing because you're not supposed to notice editing a lot. Thank you, Alexander from Canada. More like game suck, damn straight, or lame suck. From the gain filter. You want me to put a gain filter on this? Okay, let me see if I can do that. All right, how's that? Is that way too loud now? Volume still low? Way better? Okay, this is 10 dB. Tell me if that's too loud. How's Dave? Dave is fine. He's him and his wife tonight are over at his wife's sisters. It's perfect, Joe. Thank you. All good. Okay, I'm glad I could fix that. I'm surprised it wasn't loud enough at first, but oh well. Glad we fixed it early on. Whew. So, whoa. Thanks for the 2 British pounds. I can't pronounce those in Gen UK, but I think Toramaru. I love that game. I wish I had it. I had to burn a CDR for the Saturn episode. And thank you, Ryan. I don't know if we're technically on lockdown here. They say like, oh, you're not supposed to leave your house unless, you go get food or go to a doctor's office or go to the hardware store or go to all these other places that are allowed to be open. So it's like we are not allowed to leave unless we do. So it's kind of confusing. It doesn't really make much sense. Tex Gamer or TX Gamer 7 has 3 questions. Why are you going to do, or when are you going to do another video on your editing your content? I don't know. Also, when are you going to do an episode about games with impossible bosses to beat? That's 2 questions. You get a third one for free. I don't know. That's a decent idea. I can probably put that down. Turn on slow mode and pay me my $2 back. Okay. If I could figure out how to do slow mode. Oh, thank you, Paul. I missed you. You're a new member, I guess. I don't understand the join thing, but I guess that's a thing. Yeah, I don't know how to turn on slow mode. So I'm just looking at all the comments. There's a lot, so sorry if I miss it. If I do, just post it again. You're in isolation in Madrid. So my question is like places like Italy, how do you get food? Like everyone's in lockdown and other places. Like I think Spain is too. I'm not sure. I haven't really read up on that. But like if you can't even go out and get like takeout food or go to the grocery store, how do you get food? That's what I'm wondering. Thank you, Cool Alien Fish 32X. 9+ years, that's right. We're coming up on 10. And thank you, NES Thorn 109. And Colt Odell. GameSack reunion episode. You never know when Dave might pop in. He's not popping in tonight because he's at his sister's-in-law's house, but I did ask if he could. Can you add the fart sound back to the intro? I was kind of planning on that, not permanently, but just like for a one-off episode sometime. I don't know when. I just never really think about that. Next console episode is on ? I don't know. I haven't planned that. I've got 4 episodes that I've made and finished that I haven't released yet, and I think the next one I release this week will be about modding a consumer RGB television for RGB. No, a consumer television for RGB. Sorry, I totally messed that up. But it's like taking a regular old CRT and modding it for an RGB input, which it turned out really good. I mean, the picture quality was really good. iCasho. What is UYU? I don't know what kind of currency that is. I wish that was USD because that'd be a lot of money. I know this looks like a lot of money, but that's less than $4 US. Try not to spend it all on Neo Geo games. I don't know. Those Neo Geo games are pretty cheap. Almost as cheap as those analog consoles. I thank you, Justin and Brandon. Any love for the Time Splitter series? I think I saw a video on My Life in Gaming where was it Time Splitters they were talking about, but it looked really cool. I'm not really into like the first person shooters, but like I think it was the second one they were showing, which looked really cool. Thank you, Brandon. Any thoughts on collabing with the Cinemassacre guys? There have been a few talks, but the problem is getting out there and finding the time to do it. But yeah, we've been talking about that a little bit. Don't know what yet. Flip out video. Hey Joe, me and my best friends are big fans of your work. We watch it all the time. I just wanted to ask for Corbin, where is Zhu Yanda? He was found, and then he was beaten senseless. What retro consoles are easy to get into collecting without breaking the bank? That's a good question these days. Depends on what you consider retro. Like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, especially the Wii right now, the Wii U. I mean, those aren't necessarily retro, but they're cheap right now. Hunter, does Dave still work at FedEx? Yes, he does. And He's one of those essential people. And so he has to work. You know, people order groceries and toilet paper or whatever, you know, from FedEx, UPS, USPS, what have you, and they've got to deliver it. Where do you get your games? You know, since flashcards come out, I've kind of slowed down on the collecting a little bit, but usually a lot of times it's from eBay. I know, probably not the best store, but or best place. Sometimes I'll get them from like a place local, like Game Force Boulder. Is it true you're going to hire Chris Bores to replace Dave? Absolutely. No, nothing against Chris though. That would be a fun collaboration though. Joe, why are the stairs the worst enemy in Castlevania 3? That is a good question. I fall off of those so much. GameSack rules, Sega rules. Yeah, thank you, Dan. This is a social distancing care sack. Best wishes to you and Dave. Thanks for entertaining us for years. Many more to come. Thank you, Joe. Another Joe. Oh, missed Matt. Gosh darn it. GameSack Blu-ray Volume 3. Just make one and I'll buy it. The thing is about the Blu-rays is they are a bitch to make. They take a lot more work than you'd think. I mean, I could kind of half-ass it, but I don't want to. But mainly the menu design is the big thing, and then doing all the sound design for said menus. I'd like to make the menu simpler if I do another Blu-ray. I'm not saying I'm not, but it probably won't be for a while. And if I do, I want the menus to be simpler and not animated and full of sound and artwork and stuff like that, just to make it easier on me, because it takes like months. Eric, 8-bit Eric's in here. All right. Joe, play some Sega games, even though Sega sucks. Well, I'm not really set up to play games right now. I was having some issues because um, I'm on my Mac and I'm running OBS, and I don't know what it is. My Mac has a Xeon processor and not one of those i9s or i20s or whatever the i processors are, so it doesn't have the quick sync. So I was getting a lot of screen tearing on the video games. And I recently converted, you know, my mom passed away in December. I've mentioned that on Twitter and elsewhere before. But I had bought her a computer like a few months, like maybe 3 or 4 months before she died. And I've already converted that. Like I did this last night and I put OBS on it and it has quick sync on it. So I might use that to stream from in the future. So hopefully I won't get the screen tearing stuff, because that it looked really bad. What are your thoughts on Bloodstained? I did a review of that. That's an entire episode, so you can go back and look and watch the entire review of Bloodstained. I really like it. Do you edit video for a living? Yes, I do. Are you self-taught or went to school? I am self-taught mostly. I don't think I went to school for that. No, I went to school for like web stuff, but not for video editing. I canceled cable so I can donate money to creators like you. Well, thank you. I've never had cable. I've never had it in my life. Actually, it did come bundled with my internet, but I never hooked up like the cable boxes and stuff, because by the time I had that, HD was the thing and the cable box was composite video only. I'm not hooking that up. Never send you money on Facebook. Here though, why not? Oh, hi, Kurt. Wait, did I see Metal Jesus in there? Hey, Metal Jesus. Have I ever played Crazy Climber? I've never heard of that. I may have, but it didn't stick in my head. Crazy Climber. Got the cord 10 years ago? How is the RGB on the Super CD System 3? Super S... You mean the Terra Onion thing? It's actually really good now. Like, I had to have mine like slightly modded, but the way they do it now, you shouldn't have any issues. You were on James and Mike Mondays from AVGN, guys. Yeah. Mike showed me that episode like a couple of weeks ago. I thought it was hilarious. Authorities. That's my line from the Game Chasers movie. Or one of my lines. Hey Joe, do an episode on anime animated show based on video games. Ooh. That's an interesting idea. I don't know. I'd be kind of worried about, copyright stuff with that. I don't know how I'd handle it. I'd have to think about that. Any chance on a PSP episode? I'd really love to do it, but one, I need more games. And two, they need to be on my Vita so I can get like really good recordings of them. Unfortunately, my Vita had the firmware has been updated too far past to where it can be like modded for that, I guess. But I would love to do that, yeah. Any tips on getting a job video editing? Well, my first job video editing, I think I just replied to a newspaper ad or an internet ad. I can't remember. It's back in 2002 or 2001 or something like that. And it was like way up in Boulder, and I responded to it. They called me in, and that was that. So I don't really have any advice except put together a good demo reel if you have one, just of stuff you've done. It doesn't have to be pro stuff, just stuff you've worked on. Everybody relax. Big Daddy IPJ is here. I think I'm reading that right. Thank goodness. Are all the people from Colorado D-bags? Yes. Yes. Including myself, especially myself. Did Pat Contry see your story on Our Gaming Memories? I have no idea. I assume he did, but I don't think he had any reaction to it one way or the other. Do you get a PSP Go plus AV cable? I would rather do like an No, that's PSP Go. Does that even have enough? I don't know about those PSP Go's. The video quality I'd rather do it with the Vita because the video quality coming out of that is just a lot better, or rather like the PS TV, So screw what I said about the Vita before. I want a PS TV with all the PSP games on it. But again, that thing, I have one, but the firmware's been updated too far to mod it to where it can do that, I guess. History of Treasure. I have been thinking of doing a Treasure episode. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I don't do it. GameStack disturbs more subscribers. I'm glad I helped you out. Thank you, Jonathan. Blaze, Bob Cornhole is your spirit animal. That's right. And people ask me a lot, it's like, is Bob Cornhole on that whole YouTube parody episode, is he supposed to be like a parody of one of the specific Metal Jesus guests? The answer is no. He's just a random dude. He's not anyone. He's not a combination of them. He's just a really dumb guy, basically. And he only exists in that parody. He doesn't exist outside of the parody. What's the hardest NES game of all time? I don't know. I do not know. I have not played them all. I assume one that I have not played. When are we going to get another irritating gamer? No one would understand because the irate gamer does not make episodes anymore. Much to my chagrin. Would you do an episode on the divisive working designs, translations, modifications, including maybe something on the unworked patches? If I was going to do a working design episode, I would definitely mention the unworked patches. That is a hefty episode though, because most of their games they take quite a long time to play. Drinking my Kroger brand seltzer water here. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but can't really get them in the stores anymore. Due to the coronavirus, seltzer water is all but gone. More Wii games on GameStack. Maybe. I mean, they're pretty cheap nowadays. What is your daily job? That would be video editor. I've been doing video editing professionally since about 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. I got educated on so many games that I've never heard of thanks to GameStack. Well, good. Cool. I mean, a lot of games I've made or come across while making the shows, I probably wouldn't have heard about them unless I was just watching someone else on YouTube. But, if I'm doing a theme, I'll look up, what fits the theme, and I'll come across new games, or I'll ask you guys, and you'll suggest games like, and I've come across a lot of games that I've never even heard of. So, thank you guys. And thank you, Mr. Add-ons. I know who you are. Not going to quit your full... Well, I don't really do as much professional video editing anymore. That's kind of taking a back seat to GameSack. But I still do some from time to time. I help out the guy I used to work with when he needs help. And I don't mind. Should I buy an MVS or AES? Don't want real games. Well, if you get a Neo SD, then it really doesn't matter much, just as long as you get a good system that works. Just get whatever's cheapest for you. Hi, Multi-Gun Man. It's going pretty good. Isha Gaming is here? Did I miss her? Favorite films? I have so many. I love movies. I mean, I don't really rank them like that. There are some that I like watch over and over. I don't know why. This is definitely not my favorite movie, but it's one that I really like. It's the first thing that popped in my head. But Truman Show, it's not my favorite movie, but I really, really like it. There are a lot. There are a lot. I just like watching movies. I can watch movies again and again. Batman 1989, I really enjoyed. I say that because I recently bought the 4K UHD Blu-ray version, and I watched that. And I love it. I love it each time I watch it. And there's just so many others. It's like Back to the Future. I recently watched that again. I wish they'd come out with a 4K HDR version of that. There's just so many. A lot of them in the 80s. Ghostbusters. So many. So many. When is the next Playing with Sax? I don't know. I don't know. Probably not for a while, because I don't know when this whole thing we're doing right now is going to end. I've heard it's going to end on April 10th, according to a friend. Pretty funny conspiracy theory about all that. Have a Coke on me, realistic fishing. Can I have a Kroger seltzer water on you? I will have. If I find one of those Coke bottles with your name, realistic fishing, on it, I'll buy it. Heard you're a waiter in the Chaser movie, the Game Chasers movie. Yes, I am. I am in that. I was there for 4 days. That was really fun. I bet my scenes come out like horrible though. Be honest, are you wearing pants? Just worried. I could stand up, but I'm not. Not going to. I've loved GameStack for years, and this is just the way I show a little monetary appreciation. Thank you, Lord Nosk. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I definitely do appreciate that. And thank you too, Dan. But I did answer your question. Do you like Gwar? I haven't listened to them much, so I can't really say yes or no. I certainly don't want to say no if I haven't listened to them much. I know, wasn't Gwar like the concert they're trying to go to in the Beavis and Butthead game? I can't remember. That just pops out to me. Do you recommend getting a Saturn? Yes and no. The games are expensive, but they are coming out with those optical disc emulators. So if you're in the market and for getting one of those, yeah, I'd probably recommend that. I mean, the Saturn as a whole is pretty awesome, but if you're trying to buy legit games, not so much unless you don't like money or you just have a lot of disposable income. It's not like Gwar, it's like Guar. Guess I don't like them enough to pronounce them correctly. Have your wife do an episode with you. Well, I would if I were married. Which RGB OSSC FrameMeister, etc. is best in 2020? Well, I'm hoping, what is it going to be called? The OSSC Pro. I hope that's going to be the best. I hope that comes out soon. It has everything I want. It'll probably be way better than the FrameMeister, certainly better than the OSSC. I mean, the OSSC is great, but a lot of my capture cards can't see it, so I have to use the FrameMeister to do all my gameplay captures for the show. But the OSSC Pro should fix that, I'm hoping. There's no reason why it shouldn't. Oh, you got a Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder shirt after seeing mine? Awesome. Ever thought of remaking older episodes and covering different titles? Yeah, I kind of do. Like, I'll do like a sequel. I mean, I can't really remember off the hand what an example would be, but there's been episodes where I've come back and, hey, here's part 2 or 3 or whatever, something I haven't made for like 4 years. An episode of Knockoff Game Systems? I don't have a plan of that. I have to get some first. John, I will not marry you. Well, maybe. I don't know. How much money you have. My favorite console? That's really hard to answer. I really like the Genesis and the Master System. It's probably going to be the Genesis, but I really like the Master System, the Saturn, and the Super Nintendo, the GameCube. It's really hard. I've been training my whole life for this quarantine. Yes, indeed. I'm like super introverted, so like this, not going out, not going anywhere, nothing new to me. Have I spoken to Manu Anti-Raimi lately? I bet he has something to say about the 5th episode of Star Trek Picard. Yeah, he talked about that on Twitter a little bit. I mean, he didn't... I think some people think he was blacklisted for some things he said before on Twitter. And I don't know. But yeah, I think they should have gotten him back. If they were going to kill off Icheb, they should have gotten him back in there. Let him do the death scene. Did I ever get to play Rastan 3? I did play it on MAME like several years ago, but I've never... I may have mentioned it in an episode, but I've never really covered it. But I think I probably should. It's only an arcade title. I don't know about that. I think it was on a PS2 collection in Japan. I'd have to double check. Thank you for the awesome channel. GameStack is always entertaining. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, RGod55. Saludos, compañeros. Thank you, Elmo. Thanks, Craig. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning? Never heard of it. Why Golden Axe Rhoda never get a port? You mean Return of Death Adder? It is, well, never got a port, but it's coming to the 1-Up arcade things. So I guess that kind of counts as coming home. Have I played Atari today? Not yet. Which video games would you get off sexually during puberty? Anything with a hot girl in it would probably, because I remember, I mean, I didn't, get off, but I'd rent games from Power Play Games, and they'd have, the Mega Drive games or PC Engine games or what, and I don't think they ran at PC Engine games, but they would come with the manuals, and they'd have like all these sexy drawings of these anime girls in the manual. I was like, woo! Of course, I was just a deprived teenager. Hidden Gems episode. I do have another. Well, it's not called Hidden Gems specifically, but I did not play that game though. What did I call that? It's not Hidden Gems, but it's like my version of Hidden Gems. I can't remember what I call it. I'd have to look at it. Can you get into import gaming if you don't know Japanese? Absolutely. There are a lot of playable games where you don't really need to know any Japanese. I mean, sure, they may have like Japanese words in them, but you can still play them easily. You don't need to know what they're saying. But that, of course, doesn't apply to every single game. Thank you, Steele and Rob. And we'll keep it up. Oh, come on. What am I currently playing through? I've taken a couple of days off from editing and playing games because I just finished like a very intense episode. It's not an episode where you once you release, you'll be like, ooh, this looks like an episode I really want to watch. And probably hardly anyone will watch it, but I spent so much time on it, and I don't want to spoil anything. But the good news is that I'm not on camera at all in the episode. No one is. There's no video camera footage at all. And, well, I don't want to say anything more than that. Joe, say Tate. I just did. Are you playing Doom Eternal? No. I kind of want to try it, though. I don't know why. I'm not really into first-person shooters. But that, the 2016 Doom, which I still have never played, looked pretty fun. I did get the virtual reality, the VR Doom on the PS4. And I just couldn't get into that. I think I need normal Doom. You've just been game sacked on Sega CD. Is still my favorite end skit. Yeah, I really like that one too. And that really played on the Sega CD. You can download that from the gamesack.net, burn a CD, and play that on your Sega CD. Or put it on your Mega SD and play it off of that. Thank you, So Jeff. Have you watched Castlevania on Netflix? I've watched the first 2 seasons and the first episode of season 3, but I haven't watched any of the other 9 yet. Did you watch the latest Rambo? Yes, I did. I was kind of disappointed, honestly. I really like Rambo, and I'll give Rambo movies kind of a break, just because they're fun. I suspend my disbelief a little further than usual. But that recent one, it was like super short, and I don't know. I mean, it was okay. I just wish I don't know. Could have been better. Hi, Scapegoat. Thank you for $1.28. Do you care for any Atari consoles? The 7800 has always fascinated me. I don't know why the 7800 specifically. Maybe because I almost bought one instead of buying a Master System as my first console. Because I got all this Christmas money. I was like, ooh, I'm going to buy a video game console. And I was waiting for the Sega Master System. I already knew I wanted a Master System more than an NES at the time. But it was after Christmas, and it was taking stores forever to get, their stock back in. And I almost bought a 7800 instead. I saw it in the store. It's like, they don't have a Master System, I'm leaving. And then I get home and I'm thinking about, maybe I should have bought that Atari. I'm kind of glad I didn't, but I'm still kind of fascinated by it, especially since it can play all the 2600 games. I'm assuming the compatibility rate is 100%. I'm not sure. I would hope so. Do I miss working with Dave? Yeah, I like bouncing ideas off of him. It makes, I think, because we laugh a lot when we're together, so things seem funnier than they are. I don't know, maybe that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know. But yeah, Dave is fun to work with. And he's exactly like he seems. I mean, I don't know how he comes across on the show, but he's very what's the word? Opposite of me. Like, not a smart ass, easygoing. Joe, say Geyers. Just did. What rock music do you enjoy? I enjoy a lot, but most of it, I'm going to have to say, it's kind of from the mid-late 80s. First concert I ever went to was AC/DC when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. That's not to say AC/DC is my favorite band. They're good, but yeah, I like a lot of that 80s stuff. AC/DC is probably more late 70s. Well, that AC/DC was 80s. Because Brian Johnson didn't get in there until the 80s. Hey, Joe, you ever sniff your own farts? Not intentionally, but, kind of can't help it sometimes. Unless you run away when you fart, which, of course, I never do. Hang around, see how it is. Dave seems kind of nervous. You think so? I never got that. You ever get into Mystery Science Theater 3000? I've watched a few episodes. It's not bad. Never got into it, but it's not bad. Joe, how good are you at playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? Not very good. Because I don't remember how far I got. I got that game for Christmas, whatever year it came out. And I played up to a certain point, some dungeon. People tell me it's probably the water dungeon. I don't remember. I guess I could probably plug in my cartridge and find out. I don't know where the save points are. But I just stopped playing because I got either bored with it or I couldn't finish it. I probably got bored with it because I couldn't finish it. So yeah. But I don't think I don't know if it allows you to save inside the dungeons because I think I plugged in that cartridge and loaded up the save and it wasn't inside a dungeon. You actually play all those games to completion or just halfway? Really more like 5/8, sometimes 7/8. I don't know, maybe. I'm thinking maybe like 23, 30 seconds sounds a little bit more accurate. I just finished Ys 1 and 2 on my PC Engine thanks to my show. You were right, the music rocks. Are you working on any more Mega SD content? Not right now. The one I want to do is Ghouls and Ghosts, maybe. Have you ever played Valkyrie Profile for the PS1? I have not. I keep confusing that title with Valkyrie Chronicles. I know it's not the same thing. Valkyrie Profile. I think I might have it. I may have played it. I think I might have it for the PSP actually, or a version of that for the PSP. Big Box and Hyperspin, which is better? I have no idea. I've never done those. Ask Eric. Hi, Joe. What do you do and like besides video games? I like being alive. I like movies. I like music, mostly video game music, but of course I like some real music too. I like hiking a lot. Am I a Gene Simmons aficionado? Not really. I mean, my sister and I listened to Kiss a little bit when I was younger, but I was never a hyper fan of either him or the entire band. Not that they suck or anything. I just don't care. What games do you regret selling or giving away? A lot of my original Master System games, honestly, because when I got the Power Base converter, I was like, I don't need this Master System anymore, and I didn't. So I sold it and a few of the games, and I really wish I had my original Master System. Instead, I have my friend's original Master System that I bought from him. And he got it like a few months after I got mine. So it's close enough. One game I regret not buying is, what is that one for Sega CD? KO Flying Squadron. I saw it at Best Buy. I may have mentioned this before for like, it's like $17. Like, yeah. I'll wait till it goes down a little more and I put it back. Stupid. It's really cool to see. Good work getting all this respect. Wish you the best. Thank you. Thank you, GC8972B. Name just rolls right off the tongue. Corona Sack. Do you enjoy comics? You know, I used to. I used to read, like, back in the day, I used to read the G.I. Joe and the Transformers comic books, even though they were kind of The G.I. Joe comic book was actually really good. And then I read, for a while, the Star Trek comics back when, like, Star Trek 4 was out. I thought they were kind of cool. Nowadays, I have a hard time reading them because they're just kind of... Have I ever hiked up Mount Elbert? No. That's kind of extreme hiking. I'm not really into the extreme hiking. I just like, hiking maybe, 5 miles or so, and I'm good. I'm good. Are you friend with Mark of Classic Game Room? Yes. Hello from Ecuador. Thank you, Juan. Yes. He is actually on, along with Metal Jesus, who's also in here on my Blu-ray, the Volume 2. He narrates the Making of GameSack featurette in that. And then he also provides commentary for the YouTube parody thing. Oh, yeah, my Toy Story poster. Yeah, I love that. I got that at the theater. And what I really like specifically about that poster, I don't know if you can see it, but Woody has a frown on him. But they later changed it to where he's smiling. It's the same render, but his frown has changed into a smile. And I have the frown one, so I kind of like that. Do you have another job? I do video editing and I help with video production sometimes for another individual who I've been working with since 2004. Another, did you ever play Cursed Castilla? I wish I had been able to get that one. I missed out on that one. But I did get the Madeline one, which is also kind of like Ghosts and Goblins. Rumble Roses. Wow, I remember that game. And Street Racing Syndicate. Time to learn something about me. I was a beta tester on Street Racing Syndicate. I played enough of that. I remember it being very generic. I remember a lot of dancing women in that. It's like, I'm going to look up whoever that is. And like one of them was like a porn star. Can't remember her name though. How tall is Metal Jesus? Is he as divine as his name would suggest? Yes. Well, I'm right under 6 feet. He's taller than me. So I would say he would be taller than 6 feet. That's my guess. No, honestly, probably like 6'5", 6'6". I would say he is at least. How tall are you, Metal Jesus? 6'4". Maybe I'm 5'11" then. Maybe I'm shrinking. 6'4". Officially, yes. Officially, I would probably be 5'11" too, without shoes. Who owns the X68000 that I used in the review? That would be my friend Byron, who's local. He wasn't local when he loaned that to me, though. He was in town and he brought over like 5 X68000s and so many games. And then by the time I got around to reviewing it, he was local. He had moved into town, so I didn't have to ship all those things back. How many games total do you have in your collection? I counted them once. I can't remember them. It's less than 2,000. More than 1,000. Thinking like 12, 1,400 maybe. Are the Lotharic SCART switches any good? I have no idea. I've only used one SCART switch in my life that I bought from eBay like 13 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. It's not very good. Sent it right back. What games are playing currently, and what would you recommend during this pandemic? And hi. Well, I played Skull Monkeys recently. That one's good. Been doing some point and click stuff too. I like point and click stuff, but they play so much better with a mouse. Yes, I've been playing Steam. But I don't want to necessarily reveal specifically what games they were because they are covered in an upcoming episode. So you'll find out soon. Thank you, Saya. Saya Trunks. Don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I probably am not, since I say everything incorrectly. Little Jesus is not 6'20". He's probably 6'15". Do you do any live streaming on Twitch? No, my audience is here. I've tried Twitch, and the audience was super small in comparison. You know, I've got to try those Yakuza games. I mean, I've played Yakuza before, but I've gotten all the Yakuza remakes. I keep meaning to play them, just never find the time. Now would be a good time. Another game I've had for a couple of years and it's still in the shrink wrap is that Horizon game for PlayStation 4. Horizon, I don't know. Horizon. It's supposedly the really good one that's their answer to Breath of the Wild or something. Thank you, Lance. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. Are you a fan of Dune? You know, the movie, I've only ever seen the movie. And as a movie, it's not great. But it does have things I like about it, like the music and how just completely weird it is. I love how weird it is. As a story, it's not told very well. But I do like how weird it is. Joe, do you think retro games up to the Dreamcast era benefit from a 5.1 sound system? Not really. I mean, they should just play in Pro Logic anyway. I mean, if you're hooking up to a sound system, like basically all that means is sounds from the left speaker come from the left, sounds from the right come from the right. Sounds that are in mono will come from your center speaker, which is fine for those games. It doesn't hurt them to play them that way. Thank you, Arcade Perfect Reviews. And Thorgrim Hammerheart. You got made redundant on Friday? Cheer you up? Okay. Does this cheer you up? You're cheered up now. Dune books are better. I imagine they are. They tried to tell the whole story in like 2.5 hours or something, right? Think Resident Evil 3 or Final Fantasy 7 will be delayed? There's really no reason to delay any games. In fact, now is the perfect time to release games. I mean, hell, who knows what may come out this Thursday? Trek fans, thoughts on Picard? I like it. It's different. I mean, I don't like it as much as the next generation, of course. But I think it's interesting to watch. I think there's a lot of things I kind of, or at least a few things I kind of disagree with how they're doing. I mean, they're dropping like F-bombs left and right. It's like, do we really need that? Does it really need to be that edgy? I mean, it's not like I hate F-bombs. I just feel it's kind of not the venue for it, I guess. It just seems kind of odd. But I guess you get used to them and then... Played your Rastan PCB since the episode? Yes, I did. Well, I sent it to Smoke Monster and he cleaned it up. He changed the capacitors, made it look nicer. Still has the video issues, but I think that just might be how the game is. You can't really tell on a CRT. But it's not. The board is nice and clean now. It looks great. But I have not been able to beat it. If Sega's so great, why did they never report Golden Axe Revenge of Death at her? I wish I could tell you, man. I wish I could. You would think it would be easy to port, especially with the 4 meg RAM card on the Saturn. Or at least on the Dreamcast, come on. Hey Joe, when you do all that nerd talk about all the specs and whatnot, how do you know all that? I just guess. I just throw out numbers. Sometimes though, I hate to admit this, but I'll actually research. I know I'm not supposed to do that. Would you do an episode covering old Windows games? I would like to do that. I mean, I have a PC. Someone actually sent me a PC like 6 years ago. And I don't know who they are because they didn't like really leave any contact information. But I've used it a couple of times on the show actually. But that would be the perfect PC to use to play those Windows 95 games. It's filled with like Toho games. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Toho, I don't know. But yeah, it's filled with those. So I could put some of those on there. And I think that's what they wanted me to do. Thank you, Raphael. Did you know your Herzog Zwei remix was used in the Chip and Dale MMORPG trailer? No, I did not know that. I mean, I'm not bothered by it, but I did not know that. I've never heard of the Chip and Dale MMORPG. I assume that's a fan-made thing. Excited for Panzer Dragoon remake on the Switch? I don't see why I wouldn't be. When do you think it will come out? What's your favorite cake? Good cake. I don't know what that really entails. I can only tell you when I eat it. Have you tried Armacrog? Yes, I have. I like it. I am looking forward to doing a Streets of Rage 4. I doing it with Dave might actually be a good idea. I think he'd be down for that. No, the Blu-ray, you can be fat. You can buy it. If you go to GameStack.net, go over to the merch tab, and there's a couple of places you can click to buy it. Either of them, assuming they're in stock, which I think they are. I don't know how often they get to the office, like if you buy them from Screenwave, how often they get to the office to, you know, package and send stuff out with everything that's going on these days, though. So they might be delayed. I've already answered if I have played Atari today. I have already answered that, and I have not. I don't understand English, neither do I. What's the next episode? I did mention a little earlier, maybe you weren't in here, but probably the one where we mod, I have a guest on, and we mod a regular consumer CRT TV, which only has composite input. We mod it for RGB. It's pretty simple. And it looks great, especially considering how junky that TV was. Mr. Tighty Whitey. Mr. Tight White. Tell your nephew. Tell your nephew I said hi. And I don't think his name is Mike Crotch. Think Nintendo will ever make a new handheld? Yes, it'll be called the Switch 2. No, it probably won't be called the Switch 2. It'll be called the Switch U. All right, Metal Jesus, have fun eating the din dins. Eat something good. Just show us your apps. Do I know anyone who can fix a Turbo CD add-on? Yeah, my friend Byron can, but I don't know if he's in the market to do that. I've not tried Shining Resonance Refrain. I've probably heard of it, but I haven't really looked into it because the Shining games just aren't quite the Shining games they used to be. I think that came out right. I don't know. Yeah, I have one more Castlevania episode I have left to do, and that would be just all the others, like the PS2 ones, the Nintendo 64 ones, the Wii one. There's like an Xbox 360 one. I think is also on the PS3. And I don't think I'll be doing the ones in Japan that are like, what are those machines? You know what I'm talking about. The word escapes me, but someone will post it. I don't think I'll do those though. But basically all of the ones that I haven't covered. The Pachinko. I've not tried Octopath Traveler, though I recently acquired the soundtrack. Joe, if you're not married, then who is June? I don't know. I don't know who June is. Is it hard to set up the green screen? No, it's permanently set up. It's like affixed to the back of my wall. So I just go down. I mean, I have everything set in place. So I just go down, sit on the stool, turn on the light. I have to put the camera in a certain place. But other than that, it's pretty easy to set up. And I have to dial the camera to a certain setting. Otherwise, it won't key. You need more video game music episodes. Well, the one I released, Amber, did not do very well. But yeah, I do like me some video game music. Hardest video game boss you've ever fought? I don't know. That's a hard one because hard or most annoying, because the ones that really kind of piss me off are the ones that take forever. You know, they have like a million life bars and they just, it's like 20 minutes to fight them. They just get so boring. And they're just very, very annoying. Would I ever take auditions for a second presenter? Probably not. But guest people are always welcome. If they have some cool things to show off, like my guest in an upcoming episode. I love you and I want you. Show more Saturday vids. Show more Saturday vids. I mean, sure, you can love me and you can have me. I'm yours. But Saturday vids? I don't know what you're talking about. Where's Dave? That way. Like, at least 30 miles that way. Really? You love Shadow Dancer for the Master System? No, I don't care much for it. I mean, it's interesting because it kind of tries to be like the arcade. There's a whole thing on the Volume 2 Blu-ray about Shadow Dancer. Guest host, you say? That's right, Wood. That's right. Wood, you've actually been here. You've been in that room. I do miss Dave sometimes, but doing it alone is actually easier in a lot of ways. I mean, no slight to Dave, of course, but it's like I'm on my own schedule now. I don't have to worry about when he gets his stuff in and whatnot. Oh no, Nutswood. If you come to Boulder, definitely. Do you have any light up picture frames to display your double sided posters? No. They're called one sheets actually, but no, I wish I did. But I know I have one friend who has like one in his house. Those things are expensive, and unless you build your own, kind of hard to come by. They're huge too. I mean, they stick out from the wall quite a bit. Have I played AVGN versus Dr. Wily or versus Ganon? No. Those are hacks, I assume. I don't know hacks for what. I assume PC. Someone just made a video about me. He talks bad about you. Uh-oh. Can't have that. Have I watched Sonic the Hedgehog movie? Not yet. Not yet. I mean, that's not something I would go out to see just because I don't care. But once it comes to like Netflix or whatever, I'll give it a watch. Why not? Joe, you got a Patreon. So if we, as your bosses, decide we want an episode about terrible game music, you can support. Yeah, it's more of like a tipping jar, though. It's not really, it doesn't have any tiers or anything like that. But you know what you could do is just like stop watching GameSack if I don't do a game music episode. That'll hurt more. That'll hurt much more. Do you have that Final Bosses video where they try to make you laugh? No, I don't. I know what you're talking about. I wish I still had that. I wish I kept those. Why are there so many erotic games on the Saturn? I don't think it's just the Saturn. I think a lot of those systems, like once I started getting full motion video quality, had like games like that. A lot of them are Mahjong based. Do you think that the Nintendo Switch is dead? No. Not yet. 40 Winks and Ape Escape, which is better? I haven't played 40 Winks. So, I'm going to say Ape Escape. I don't know. Which do you think is better, Ape Escape or the Master System version of Monopoly? I just have to say Ape Escape. What camera do you use to film, to video, to... This one is the old GameSat camera. This is the Canon C100 Mark II that I'm using for this stream. And to answer a question further down in the chat, yes, I'm already shooting in 4K. I'm using the Panasonic GH5S, but I edit and upload in 1080 because it takes, not only does it take forever to encode the 4K stream, hardly anyone watches it in 4K, and plus the games are all in like 480p at best usually, so it's like, what's the point? Thank you, Nostalgia Gaming. Dave escaped. What's Dave's breath like on average? Pretty nasty. He does not believe in breath mints. True. No, I'm kidding. What kind of upscaler do you use? I use the FrameMeister for the show. I also have an OSSC, which does a better job, less noise, but capture equipment doesn't like it. Do you have a full set of games for one of your consoles? Super Graphics, does that count? It only has 5 games, but I don't have the Darius Alpha or whatever the other one is. So I don't know if that really counts, even though they are only compatible games, and they were barely Super Graphics compatible or Super Graphics enhanced. Barely. I mean, barely. So, I don't know. Maybe Super Graphics. Close to the Master System, just missing one game. Guess which one? The $500 one, Buster Douglas. I'm not paying $500 for a sports game. I don't know if I'll make a Volume 3. And if I do, it'll be the menu system and stuff has got to be overhauled because I just put way too much time and work into that on those other 2 volumes. Do you like Vectrex? Yeah, the Vectrex is awesome. Don't you think Troubleshooter is overrated? I don't know, is it? I don't really see a whole lot of people talking about it. It's not a bad game. It's not the best thing ever either. Interested in a new PC Engine Mini? Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested in checking it out. I'm kind of surprised that it's not very many. It's like PC Engine is like this. PC Engine Mini is like that much smaller. It's like, why even bother calling it a mini? Will we get an N64 disk drive episode? I don't know. Thank you, Hugo. Will you ever review PS5 games? I've been wanting to for a while now, but just haven't gotten around to it since they're not out yet. So I guess I might have to wait a little bit. I haven't bought any arcade 1-up machines yet. No, I have not. The only one I'm really interested in is a Star Wars one because it has the yoke. Joe, are you smart? Not really. Joe, does fame make it difficult to go out in public? It would if I were famous, but I can go out in public just fine, and people are like, they don't know who I am. They just like, hey, you asshole. They just treat me like any other dipwad. I think Joe likes My Life in Gaming. I do like My Life in Gaming. Do you think the PC Engine arcade card is worth it to play the arcade-based CD games? To me, it was. If you're a hardcore fan, I don't like using that term because it makes you sound better than other fans. But if you're really into the system, yes, I think it's worth it. Please make another very WTF episode. I would like to, but y'all are going to have to recommend some games. Please not here in the chat because I'll never be able to come back to them and find what you suggested when the time comes. I love you too, YouTube commenter. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here, YouTube commenter. Our love is finally known. Mike and James posted a video earlier today, actually yesterday, and even quoted me in a scene. Yeah, Mike showed me that in an episode like 2 weeks ago. I thought it was hilarious. What's your favorite console mod? My favorite console mods are usually the ones that add a functionality that I can appreciate, like the RGB. And I think out of all of those, my favorite is probably the NES RGB because it just made me appreciate the NES so much more than I ever thought I could have. I mean, I liked it, but once I got my NES RGB modded, I just couldn't stop playing it. It was crazy. And I really like the DC HDMI mod too. I mean, that thing looks incredible. Do you use Premiere Pro to edit? No, I use Final Cut Pro. Joe, do you know any good Joe Mama jokes? Hee hee. I don't. I'm sorry. Not off the top of my head. Joe, do you like scan lines? If not, why? Well, if I'm playing on a CRT, I certainly like them. And I've created my own scanline filter, which I use on the show. So I like the look of them. But generally, I find that fake scanline filters in like emulators and like the standalone consoles, they only look kind of okayish. And he plans on taking a look at the ACAN system. I have a vague recollection of what that might be. What do you think about that Toy Story 4 ending? I saw Toy Story 4. I'm trying to remember how it ended. I mean, I can remember the movie, but I can't remember the exact ending. I probably cried, but I can't remember. Is there a video game system that you just regretted buying? Yes. But it was back in the day. And it was called the 3DO. And I paid $700 for that on launch. 700. I was crazy. And it was like 500 only like 6 months later. I think. I don't remember. But it wasn't long. $700. And then it was down to only a paltry 500 not long after, which is like a drop in the bucket. But yeah, that system was crazy expensive. And then the Saturn and the PlayStation come out for like just a few $100. Jeez. I mean, it wasn't until the Saturn and the PlayStation came out that I really realized how much of a bonehead I was. But what can you do? Any Switch reviews coming soon? I mean, if there's a game I have that fits in a theme that I'm covering, yeah, definitely. How involved is Dave in the production of your videos? Dave, not he lends me lots of stuff to like put on camera, like games, so I can show the game going inside the console and this, that, and the other thing, or use it to play. And sometimes I use a lot of his because we recorded a lot of gameplay, and I kept it all. And a lot of times I'll use games that he recorded. I do not use a MacBook Pro. I use the Mac trash can from 2013 and kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. Yeah, $40 is more like a reasonable price for a 3DO. But, I was just so amazed at the pictures I was seeing in the magazines. It's like, wow. It's just like so far beyond what they were doing with 16-bit at the time. It was like, screw it, I'm saving. And I put like $100 or maybe $150 or more from each paycheck in a little envelope. And I just saved and saved and saved. It was so weird when I first got that 3DO too, because it was so different. It was not very video gamey. Not at first. Have I ever thought about making a Hackintosh? I have thought about it, but there are a bunch of pros and cons with that too. I'm really sad that Buyback Games closed. Speaking of Level 7 games, they did buy Buyback. From what I hear, they bought Buyback and then they closed Buyback. I don't know why they did that, if that's true. What's your opinion on the Konami SCC sound chip, which was the sound chip used in MSX games? I like it. It sounds better than the MSX does on its own, that's for sure. It's a very nice, smooth, warm feel. Almost, kind of, sort of like an NES, but not really. Does Dave ever play his Neo Geo X? No, he doesn't. He lent that to me. I had it in an episode like a few months ago. I can't remember which one it was, but I had to show it. I think it was, no, it was like a year ago, wasn't it? It was like the mini episodes where I had the Neo Geo Mini. I had to borrow the Neo Geo X from him then to show that. the Neo Geo Mini was a step up from the Neo Geo X, and it's a huge step up from that. Favorite thing to do outside of GameSack? I don't know. Sleep, eat, stare at the internet, collect dust, and not dust my house. Thoughts on the Polymega? Lots of haters, but it looks great, and Retro RGB Modern Vintage Gamer had positive things to say about the Saturn emulation. I mean, I have not had any firsthand experience with it, so I can't really give any opinion. I know there was some kind of controversy. I can't remember what that was, but I don't know. I mean, it could be good. That's really all I have to say about it at this point, without looking more into it. But it's an interesting idea. Just busting your chops about the Blu-ray. Did you play Tale of the Sun yet? Oh, hi, Matt. I know you've been busting my chops to play that. Sup, dude? That's it. Sup? Cassius 17. Took my brain a little while to translate those Roman numerals into American numbers, which the entire world uses. Have I ever smoked pot? The answer is actually no. I've never been interested in smoking anything. Just never interested. If I was ever going to do pot, it would have to be edible. Do you own a ZX Spectrum? I do not. I do not. That's a Europe thing. Though I'm pretty sure I could import one. How long does it take to brainstorm for an idea of an episode, film, and edit? The brainstorming is hard. That's probably the hardest part is like, I'm at this point right now, actually, because I've just finished up an episode. Got to think about what is the next episode going to be about? And then once I come across an idea, do I have enough games to throw in that episode? And that's kind of the hard part. And then once I get all that figured out, then I start recording the gameplay and I start writing my script. After I finish recording each game, I write down immediately after I stop playing, so it's fresh in my head. And playing the games can take a few days, and then I go down and I record my voiceover for the script. And that's another hard part because I suck at doing voiceovers. I totally suck at it. I screw up all the time. So once that's done, then I come up and then edit that, and then I edit the gameplay to the VO. And then I go down and I sit in front of the green screen. I can't talk right now. You see what I mean? And record my on-camera segments. Do that. That takes maybe like 15 minutes. Come up, edit that, and then I'm like, what do I do for an ending skit? I don't know what to do. So then I have to sit around and brainstorm, and then I get an incredibly stupid idea that I shouldn't get, and then I go and shoot that, and then I edit it all together. So usual about 2 weeks is a typical episode. I don't know. Considering COVID-19, you're paranoid about buying physical games from Amazon? I don't know. I don't think I would be. You could always spray them down when they arrive. Where do you buy your retro games? Online or at the store? Sometimes eBay or at a local store like Gameforce Boulder. I also love the show, but F you, GameSack. Thank you, Kevy. F you too. Cigs are dumb, but I highly recommend marijuana. I'm not going to smoke it. Just the thought of smoking just absolutely disgusts me. It's just, my parents smoked, and my grandparents, and I looked at them and I was like, that's really gross. How do you guys do that? And so I figured, like, only really old people smoked. I kind of still think that way. Just smoking is just gross. That's why it'd have to be an edible. But I'm really not that curious. Thank you for liking my ending skits, Colin. My full-time job, GameSack, basically. JVC XI, good investment. I don't look at video games as investments. I really don't. I would buy it if I wanted it and if I would get enjoyment out of it. Video editing software is Final Cut Pro. What do you think of Level 7 games? When they first opened, I didn't like it because I'd go in and ask them the price on a game, which they didn't have marked, and then they'd go look it up. It's like, please. Just either price it or don't. Or, clearly. But just either price it or... I just didn't like that. Just have a price on it. You know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm having a brain fart, but yeah, I think you guys hopefully know what I mean. Candy cigarettes are still da bomb. I did eat those when I was a kid. There's another question. No, this is not a beer. It's a Kroger brand seltzer water. Kroger, for when quality matters. Joe's Diet Woke, Snicker. What do you think of the state of YouTube? They seem to be less creator friendly. It really depends on what you do, honestly. If you know how to deal with it, then you'll be fine. If you're doing stuff that YouTube goes after, then yeah, I mean, it's not going to do good for you. But I don't know. I haven't really seemed to have any problems. Do you play on the Mister? Yes, my Mister is right here, right below the lens of the camera. I don't know, can you hear me tapping it? That's my Mister making that noise. My Mister and my fingernail. I've not played the TG16 Mini yet. There was some question somewhere that I wanted to answer, but I lost it and I don't even remember what it was about. I'm so sorry. Oh, greetings, New York City. Try not to die, please. What brand and model number is your daily use CRT? It's the PVM right here, which is off camera, but I have a Toshiba downstairs, which the image quality is probably a little bit better. I don't know the model number though. I forget. Dave and Joe origin story? Easy. We went to the same high school. The end. What is this, Joe? What is this, Joe? I don't understand your question, Joshua. I know who you are, though. I copied one of your videos once. Is a CDZ worth the extra money over the regular CD? I don't know how much the difference is. It's slightly faster, if that means that much to you. Feelings on Overwatch? I've never played it, but people who play it seem to enjoy it, so more power to them. Hi, Twan Games. I noticed you. Do you pee? I do not. Microsoft or Apple? I use Apple, but I do have a couple of Windows installations. I have like four Windows installations here. But I prefer the Mac OS. Gotta rub my nose, get some Corona in here. Haven't washed my hands for several days. Any games coming out that you're looking for? Yeah, not that I can remember off the top of my head. I mean, someone mentioned the Panzer Dragoon remake. That'll be pretty cool. I don't remember right now. Play Ninja 5.0. I did. I covered it. It's a good game. What do you think of PC gaming? Um, I prefer gaming on consoles because that's just easier for me, less to worry about, less getting in the way. I mean, if you want to game on PC, that's fine. But oh, Joe, why did you beat James and Mike at Wheel of Fortune? The answer to that is because they suck. They can't even play Wheel of Fortune. Jesus. GameSack. Why GameSack? Any funny stories about that name? Yes. We talked about this on the Volume 1 Blu-ray, but, we were trying to come up with a vulgar but not outright offensive name for the show. One of them was going to be Game Squirt, but then we settled on GameSack. And then, like, 5 minutes later, we shot the first episode. Ghouls and Ghosts, arcade or Genesis version? Probably the arcade if you're playing with a joystick. But I love them both. I have them both. Are you a boomer? I'm not that old, Jesus. Gen X. What's your favorite porn? Such weird questions. Don't have a favorite, they're all good. Do you play a musical instrument? I used to play electric guitar, but now I play clicking buttons in Logic, and it seems to work well for me. Think Sega will ever release another home console? Can't predict the future, but you never say never. Not even going to address that, Cassius. You bought Volume 1 twice. Why? Was it an accident, I assume? Soundgarden or Alice in Chains? Good one. I do like Soundgarden. I have a small little preference for them because they did some music for Road. Well, they didn't specifically do it, but they had some music in Road Rash, the 32-bit Road Rash. What beer do I enjoy? I rarely drink beers, and honestly, when I did drink beers, it was I didn't really know any better, but it was Corona, and I ended up getting infected because I drank Corona. That's how it works. No, I drank Corona because my ex, she liked it. It was good enough for me. I didn't know any better. Didn't care. High Cliff Conway. If you play electric guitar, you play all guitar. Not true. Can't play 12 string. Unless I played an electric 12 string. Doom Eternal or Animal Crossing? I would probably prefer to play Doom Eternal. Is Second and Charles still open? You mean during the quarantine? I don't know. Are they still open because, they're in good business? I think they are. But I don't like the one near me. I like the one that's out in Aurora by the theater I used to work at. Which game do you go back to often? Like, I play Resident Evil 4 once a year. Super Monkey Ball, Ghouls and Ghosts, Castle of Illusion, a lot of those. A lot of cartridge. Well, Super Monkey Ball's not a cartridge game, but I like cartridge games because they're a lot easier to start up and play than CD games. That's a stupid reason, I know, but. Will you ever do a Virtual Boy episode? I'm trying. There's like things you can get to make the Virtual Boy a self-contained thing and have like a video output, which I'm trying to get a hold of, which is a lot harder now with all this going on. And once I get that going, hell yeah. I've always wanted to do a Virtual Boy episode because there was like I can't remember who it was or where I saw him. I think it might have been on some forum, but there was like can't remember the forum member's name, Dog P or something like that. I can't remember. I'm totally misremembering his name. But he had some sort of Virtual Boy video out, and I really was interested in that. And then I never heard from him again. So I've been wanting to make a Virtual Boy episode for a good 8 years. Ever been to Lollapalooza? No, but I have been to Retropalooza 3 times. What inspired your Impress Your Friends skit? That actually started before GameSack, because the first one was the 32X, where it's at the end of the 32X episode where I impressed Dave because it has so many wires, and the PS3 didn't have enough wires, so it's no good. And we actually made that a couple of years before we did GameSack, so I just tacked that on to the end of that episode, and then it's just something fun that was fun to do. It's kind of hard because it take a while to shoot, but it's fun because you can make fun of certain aspects of a console kind of stealthily, and it's fun. That's one thing I do miss making since Dave left, is those Impress Your Friends things. Extrovert or introvert? Very, very introvert. So that means this quarantine thing is just like, yeah, I don't leave the house anyway, so. I've been playing a lot of Mega Drive 3 lately on my Model 1. I've been playing a lot of the Super Nintendo Mini on my original Super Nintendo. That's how that sentence reads to me. I don't know what you're saying. But yes, I agree with you that the SCART out really, or the RGB out really makes a big difference. Thank you, Cassius. Streets of Rage 4, your thoughts? I have none since I have not played it, but I look forward to playing it. Is Ghouls and Ghosts on Super Graphics an accurate arcade port? Is it closer than the Genesis version? In a lot of ways, it is. In some ways, it is not. Sound-wise, it is not. Control-wise, it's kind of weird. But it is good. The scrolling is kind of messed up in Stage 3 when you're going up, because the layers are different than they should be. But it's still a great version. It's harder because you only have like a few continues. But I still beat it. I love it. Why does Dave beat you senseless so much in your ending skits? Because it's funny. That's why. We'll do anything if it's funny. Does having YouTube Premium do much for creators? I have it. Yes, it does. Yeah, you won't get any ads at all. And we do get a cut if you watch it. So think of it kind of like a Netflix subscription. Everything you watch on Netflix, like if you're watching a show on Netflix, whoever is responsible for providing that show to Netflix gets a cut of that each time someone watches it with their paid subscription. So YouTube Premium kind of works the same way. So it's actually a very, very good thing. Whoa. Why'd Dave leave? Because he wanted to spend time with his family. A lot of people really didn't see the Lynx episode or the episode that followed that, I'm taking it. Joe, how did that Pat Kilbane collab come about? I don't know how we started talking, but we did. And I really don't know how we started talking. And then he's just like, hey man, we should do a collab. And then like, okay. And then a couple months go by. It's like, I don't know, you still want to do it? It's like, yeah, I'll do it. It's like, well, okay. I don't know. T.S., can you replace Dave? No. No. Well, thank you for using ad blocker. That really helps us here at GameSack. And I say us, like the royal us. Is there a royal us? Does the GH5 have a stop motion feature built in? It has like onion skin type thing where you can like see the last picture you took. And the first Castlevania episode I made, I was shooting the ending skit using that feature. And I was like, no. It shows like too many layers. So it's hard to see what you're looking at and what the previous layers are. So I was like, no. And the GH5S doesn't take very good still pictures anyway. So I was like, screw that. I'm using my Canon 6D and doing it the old way. And I've been using my Canon 6D for stop motion. I've only used my Canon 6D for stop motion. I've never used it. I never finished a stop motion animation with the GH5. I was just like, I did not like how that worked. So the GH5 is only for video for me. Have I ever killed anyone with those katanas? I've tried. I meant to remove those because those are so dusty. I bet Dave has a tribal tattoo. No. He has none, to my knowledge. Have you ever heard of a guy called Matt McMuscles? I've heard of him, but I don't know who he is or what he does. But I have heard the name. Have you beat Mike Tyson before on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? No. Are your katanas real? Yes. Real doll. They will not slice up anything. Show us your cat. I'm actually surprised she hasn't come in here since I'm talking, because usually when I'm talking, like on the phone or something, she'll run in thinking I'm talking to her, but I don't know. Hope she's not dead. Have you played SMS Mark III games, Sega Master System, with FM sound? Yes. Yes, I have. I modded my Master System with FM sound. I have the Power Base Mini with FM, which has unfortunately stopped working. You and RGT85 gonna work together again? Maybe, you never know. I talk to that guy every day. I don't know why. He sucks. What is the best console for backwards compatibility? That is a good question. Console, huh? Probably the original PS3, since they could play PS2 and PS1s. That was a really good deal. I like that. I wish I had one. Any console with like true backwards compatibility is good. I like what they're doing with the Xbox One, since you can play Xbox 360s and original Xbox games. Unfortunately, not all of them, and a lot of the licensed games might not show up in the backwards compatibility list, because I think they may have to relicense them. And they have to work on each game individually. So that's kind of a bummer. But I like what they're doing over there at Xbox these days. Dolby Atmos? It's okay. I mean, it's fine. Nothing against it. Hobbies outside gaming? Movies, sleeping, ignoring people, avoiding people, maybe sleeping. Joe is on disability. I am not. Oh, there's the Matt McMuscles console. I'm still scrolling way, way up here. Let me go down a little. Thanks for chatting and making great videos. Please continue. Much love. Thank you, Krogoth26. Mike Roch. Appreciated the shout out, Joe. Times are hard. You're welcome, Mike Roch. What's your thoughts on the FPGA and analog? I mean, FPGA is good. I like it. It's a good alternative to emulation. Not that there's any reason anyone shouldn't use emulation, but I think it's a good hardware alternative. Analog, they have more potential than they realize, but what kind of pisses me off about analog is they have the opportunity to make their stuff absolutely perfect. I mean, Kevtris can do it. I mean, he's smart enough, as everyone knows, but they've got all these products that they want to release, so he'll do a few firmware updates here and a few firmware updates there, and the analog wants to move on to the next thing. You know, they're a business, that's what they do, so the Kevtris has to move on to the next thing. So they never quite totally button it up. I mean, they're still very, 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 very good, but I just wish they would he would have the chance to finish them up. Best F-Zero GX racer? I'm going to go with F-Zero GX is probably the best one. Like F-Zero GX. Oh yeah, analog in their shipping. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what they're doing. And supposedly their bank is in, I don't know where their bank is. I think it's in China. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I think it's not in the US. So there's something going on with their banking, and some people are getting charged uh, currency conversion fees on their orders, which is weird. So I don't know what's going on there. Do you hold in farts while gaming? Absolutely not. Is this the real Wendy's? I'm disappointed if it's not. And I love your chicken nuggets. Tell me what your favorite sandwich is. Peanut butter and strawberry preserves. I don't consider things like a burger a sandwich, even though it technically is. Thank you, Graphics Grump. Do you have an arcade super gun? Yes, yes indeed. In fact, I have a whole episode about that I released like a little, maybe 2 months ago. Be sure to check it out. It's called something. Like My Arcade Games or something. I don't even remember what I made. That's just sad. I'm my own worst fan. 2020 is a rotten year in technological development. I know! I was expecting the flying car by February, but no. Do you like Huey Lewis in the news? I liked him fine back in the day. Nothing against them. But they weren't like something I'd have to go to their concert or anything. Turkey burger or regular burger? Regular burger. I've never tried a turkey burger or an Impossible burger. What happened to Jen? She moved to California close to 3 years ago. Joe, do you cook? Yes, I do. And I don't like it. I mean, I don't mind it, but what I don't like is spending all this time making the food and then all the time afterwards cleaning up and such little time eating. It's like much ado about nothing. You do all this, then you eat it for like 7 minutes. It's like, come on. That's not very efficient. I want a food replicator. Amber, you asked regular burger or turkey burger. I do eat, when I make chili, I make turkey chili though. Because the meat really isn't that important in chili. You can't really taste if it's beef or whatever. And turkey's probably a little better for you than ground beef, so I use ground turkey. Tastes great. My chili's awesome, actually. I actually don't mind making chili. It's worth it. Lab grown meat. I want. I'm all for lab grown meat if it tastes fine. Totally for that. But it's got to taste right, and it can't be too expensive. Please don't delete the stream. I'll try. I don't know how to keep it. Do you blush? Unintentionally, yes. I have rosacea, so if I eat like tomato sauce, my face gets like really red. Sucks. I got to make sure not to eat anything with tomato before I go on camera, like a day before. Eating chili is the worst. It's worth it though. Yeah, my homemade chili is homemade. Well, I don't kill my own turkey and grind it up or anything, but you know. Can you smell the turkey in your chili farts? I cannot distinguish the turkey smell from the ground human smell. I mean, from the other ingredients I put in their smell. Water or H2O? Kroger seltzer water. I love doing that. Am I married? Nope. Want to get married, Jose? Do you have a Mister set up? I do. Game you often play to relax? Super Monkey Ball on the hardest difficulty setting. Talk about the sound produced by the X68000. It's pretty good, very Genesis-like, a little less beefy. Unless you hook up the external MIDI, which is good, but then it sounds like MIDI, which isn't necessarily bad. Amber, I love Kroger brand seltzer water. It's delicious. You can't get it in the store anymore because people are hoarding it all. People need their seltzer water. And Kroger can't make enough. How do you pronounce Alpha Kenny Body? Like that. Since you are in Colorado, do you ever run into Bill Brasky? I don't know who that is. So, yeah, probably. Have I seen Castlevania on Reflux yet? You mean Netflix? Yeah, I've seen most of it. Toilet paper or dry corn cob? See, before all this started, I had like 11 rolls of toilet paper, and that'll last someone like me like 3 months. It's like I'm not in no need for toilet paper. I don't know why people are hoarding specifically that. Well, I do know why, because monkey see, monkey do. Like I said on Twitter a few days ago. How did I get good at Wheel of Fortune? I play it a lot so I can beat people remotely, 3,000 miles away. Bill Brasked the SNL skit. Nah, I'm not familiar with that particular skit. Bill Brasky. James Hetfield lives here. How do you pronounce meow? Like that. Favorite game genre? Action. Stuff without tutorials. Or at least not much. I wouldn't say nay on Atmos, Dolby Atmos, but I'm not going to freaking hang speakers on my ceiling. Does whiskey count as beer? Of course it does. It counts as water too if you want it to. You're a Yankee? That's not directed at me, because you know I am. Denver or Colorado Springs? Denver. Come on, no Boulder love? Sonic 2 or 3, honestly, I'd have to go with Sonic 2. Dave is doing well. Mad TV was pretty awesome back in the day. I have a lot of it, or at least some of it, that I recorded on old videotapes. Because I was working at the time it was broadcast, so I'd have to come home and watch it when I got home. Would you do a game podcast with My Life in Gaming, Angry Video Game Nerd, Mike Metal Jesus, etc.? Would be a great idea. Yeah, I'd love to. I've done several with My Life in Gaming. Boulder or Estes Park? Boulder, because it's closer. Estes Park is prettier, though. Best Streets of Rage game? I'm always partial to Streets of Rage Part 2. But I have grown to appreciate Part 3 more over the years. As long as you're playing the bare knuckle 3, you can get a good translation for that. But I just prefer the colors in bare knuckle 3 more than Streets of Rage 3. But I also really, really like Streets of Rage 1. So they're all actually really good. Pie or cake? Depends on the pie and it depends on the cake. I love them both. Please don't make me choose. Anyone know who Fire Marshal Bill is? Absolutely. in living color. Did you see I was on James or Mike Mondays? Yes, I did. Joe, do you have a Neo Geo? Yes, I have two, an AES and an MVS. Joe, did your video where you beat Dave with the gun get demonetized? Not that I know of. I don't think I have any demonetized video. I might have one, which is like what's it called? Excessively violent videos or excessively violent games. That one might be demonetized just because of the title. Joe needs a new one. You know, I had a new one here for several months. I was going to make an episode about it, but I never did. And I gave it back to the same guy who loaned me the X68000, and he went and sold it, so I was dumb. I just figured there's like 3 games or 4 games for the thing, and there wasn't many. So I couldn't have made much with it. But I should have done it anyway. What is it with you and your number 2s? I'm not sure I understand the question. You talking about my number 2s on the toilet? You don't know. You don't want to know. What's up with that? Kill Bill Part 1 or Part 2? Definitely Part 1, but I really do like Part 2. Favorite SNK Fighter? I do not know. I have a hard time picking absolute favorite things. I don't like ranking things, usually. Pancakes or waffles? I'm going to have to go with pancakes on that one. Every time I go to Village Inn, I don't know if you guys have Village Inn. Most places have IHOPs, but not every place has Village Inn. But it's kind of an IHOP-like place. And they have the best damn pancakes, and I always get pancakes. Joe, are you rich? No, because rich is defined as, I can't remember what the number value was, but I think it's like if you have, I don't remember if it's 20 million or 200 million. Either one is way rich in my book, but I think there was a number value. And I don't come anywhere near that. I wish I did. Where's the silver play button? Is right there. Walter Costas wants to know if you watch Red Letter Media. I watch their Star Wars and Star Trek reviews. I love those. I mean, I'll watch almost anything about Star Trek. I'm a big Star Trek fan. Big nerd. I used to go to the conventions, but not anymore. I wouldn't want to anymore. But I just like Star Trek. Last one, joysticks. Love it. It was okay. It's talking about joysticks, the movie. Someone said episode 1 is flagged as adult only. I don't believe you. I'm going to go check that. I may have misrepresented that. Do I have to really go through 30 pages to get there? Oh my goodness. Cause see, I'm going through this in my my channel that lists the videos. I can't just list oldest to newest in this column, in this section. Almost there though. Okay. Is this listed as adult only? Age restriction, advanced. No, do not restrict my video to viewers over 18 only. I don't know why it would be listed as adult only for you. Is Chinese food racist? What? Well, you're probably talking about how Trump keeps saying the Chinese virus. I think that's a little not really the same thing. And I don't think he means it in a racist way, but I think it's probably not doing a good thing, him saying that. What's your favorite episode? Favorite. It's hard to pick favorites. My favorite series is probably The Next Generation and the original. Favorite episode, I mean, I've got a ton of them across all the series. There's a bunch of really good ones. It's hard to pick them off the top of my head. Any video game movies you consider well done? Well, I remember when I was working as a projectionist, Mortal Kombat came out, and I had to watch that before it came out to make sure I assembled the print correctly. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. I haven't really seen many video game adaptations. I saw the Street Fighter movie, same deal. I had to watch it, but it was like laughably bad. Congrats on winning the Porsche. Thank you. I'm going to sell it for $100. Any fun projectionist stories? Way too many. Way too many. Like the one time where we interlocked all 16 screens with a single print. Took the print like, I can't remember how long, like 35 minutes from the first projector to the last, because there were 16 screens. Took it that long to get to the last projector. Are you going to edit the GS movie? Do you mean GameSack movie? If there was to be a GameSack movie, which there won't be, because I can't imagine what that would possibly be about, absolutely I would edit it. I wouldn't let anyone else edit it. For PS2 and Xbox, I just usually use components. The FrameMeister is kind of soft when using 480p video. It'll line double it to 960p. But the OSSC does that a little better. If you have a display that will be compatible with it. You hate the Mortal Kombat movie? I thought it was generally decently regarded. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks it's like amazing or anything, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. That's for sure. Certainly wasn't no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which isn't based on the game. It's based on the cartoon, which is based on the comics, which is based on the comics. I was going to say the toy, but no. Yeah, Wayne's World 1, that's the same thing I keep coming back to, like for a GameSack movie, like Wayne's World, but then I'm like, it'd have to be like basically one long ending skit. Just totally silly. And it would also have to be like something that people who aren't familiar with the show could go in and watch and just enjoy without having seen the show. Yes, these are original one sheets, all of them. There's even more behind you guys. If you turn around, you'll see my Frighteners poster. And it's just a little lenticular one. It's really cool. It has a skull. Any chance we'll get a GameSack dating sim? If I could make my own dating sim or sim type of game or text adventure or digital comic, it would be pretty wacky. Joe, what TV shows do you watch? I don't really watch a lot of TV, actually. It's like, I don't really have a lot of time. The only thing I'm watching is Star Trek Picard. And I don't watch that on TV. I watch that on a computer. But don't really watch a lot of TV. Postal from I always forget how to pronounce his first name. U-Bowl. I think that's how it's pronounced. Is actually the best video game. I haven't seen that. I think he used to follow me on Twitter. He used to give me some shit from time to time. Have you high-fived Game Dave, and why? I don't know if I high-fived him. Game Dave. That was back before we were all infected. Well, I mean, we were infected, but we just didn't care. Dolby Digital or DTS, which do you like more? DTS because less compression. But nowadays, it's not really an issue because they're all lossless. Uwe Boll? That could be a way of pronouncing his name. What's your favorite Ouya console? I don't know, the Ouya? Is there multiple Ouya consoles? Best thing to do or eat in Colorado, Mr. Redifer? You know, I could really go places with that question. I could get kind of X-rated here, but I won't. But, you know, that's just where my mind went. The golden question, Genesis or SNES? I prefer the Genesis, but you gotta have both. You have to have both. You're missing out on so much if you don't have both. Or if you don't have the access to play both games. I don't care how you play them. If you could palm slap any YouTuber, who? Open palm slap any YouTuber. There's quite a few. There's quite a few. One in particular probably doesn't... He knows I know he exists, but he doesn't know that I'm annoyed with him. But yeah. Thanks, Miles. Have you been to Casa Bonita? Yes, I have. I actually don't live very far from Casa Bonita. I was stoked to see that on South Park, however long ago it was. Seems like forever now. The cliff divers. People thought that wasn't real. It's totally real. It's awesome. On a scale from 9 to 10, how much do you love Ouya? Probably like 20. How can you not? If I speak in all caps, will I be noticed? I don't think so. It's Pat, right? Is it Pat? No, no. It's not Pat. I don't wish to open palm slap Pat. Do you like to touch up yourself? No. No. What are your thoughts on the analog portable handheld? Interesting. That's about all I have to say right now. I'm sure it'll be good. What's your favorite worst video game? Hard driving on the Genesis. I like that one. Why do you hate Nintendo? Probably because they came out with that stupid Super Mario World and F-Zero. Who does that? Good games. What are they thinking? I hate it when companies make good games. What's your favorite VGM, aka video game music? Again, I can't pick a favorite. There's just so much. Do you like the smell of your own farts? Is this the same person who asked if I like to Dutch oven myself? Is Tommy Tallarico going to make it on time for his Intellivision Amico? I don't see why he wouldn't. If you have a son or daughter, would you name them GameSack Jr. or Joe 2? I'd name them Why Do You Exist? I Never Wanted Kids. No slight to anyone who has kids, but they're just not for me. I'll enjoy other kids. No, that sounds wrong. I enjoy it when other people have kids. I don't want kids. It's kind of like tattoos. I don't want any on me, but I think it's cool when other people get them and I can look at them. Hi, Stu B. Stu B. Hi, Ryan. Ryan J. Navarro. I'm sure I'm messing that up. Your first copy of Volume 1 was defective. Did you send it back? Because they'll replace it. What did I say to make you say, whoa, unsubscribe? Steve H. Amico is garbage. Might not be for you. I mean, it might be for you, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's garbage, period, for everyone. Joe, do you collect movie posters? Not really. I like good movie posters, though. I'm always looking for more, but since I don't work in the theater anymore, I don't really get any anymore. Dreamcast or Saturn? That's a tough one. I'd probably pick the Saturn simply due to its controller. I mean, geez. And it has a lot more games, especially if you go to Japan. Worst gaming controller? I have a controller episode I want to make about some really bad controllers. So we're going to find that out, hopefully. Worst popular Sega game? Ooh, I'd piss a lot of people off if I answered that. I don't know. I could never get into the Phantasy Star Online. I just can't do it. It seems so empty to me. Joe, what's your VCR? That? Can you actually see that? No, you can't see that. I have a Magnavox. Is that? No, it's a Mitsubishi. The only VCR I have left working is a Mitsubishi Super VHS. I think that's the only one I have left working. Usually I have the JVC Super VHSs, but they stopped working long ago. Wow, this is really laggy. That was like... I just watched myself turn around, and that was like a good 20 seconds. So 20 seconds of lag on this stream. And I've got this on low lag mode. Soldier Blade or Sapphire? Probably Soldier Blade. I mean, Sapphire is good, but Soldier Blade, I don't know. Something about it. Really good. Both are great games, though. Would I recommend Darius Gaiden on the Saturn? Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't slap Mike. You'll never guess who it is. You probably don't even know who it is. I'm not even aware of this person's existence. I could give a hint, but I don't want to. I'm going to kind of do, but I don't. It's the only thing, because the only thing I could say, well, no, that wouldn't give it away. Oh. I know there's someone out there thinking that is him. It's not you. Is there some kind of flash cart for the PC Engine like an EverDrive? Yes, there is an EverDrive for the PC Engine / TurboGrafx 16. Or you can get the SD System 3 from Terra Onion and have the same functionality, but it also plays CD games, but you really need like a core graphics or a super graphics to really get anything out of that because it's really noisy on a TurboGrafx. And it won't work on a Duo. Where can I buy GameStack Blu-ray Volume 1? Go to GameStack.net, go to merch. It will give you a couple of options, including Amazon and ScreenWave. Thunder Force 2 or Gate of Thunder? I like them both for different reasons, but I really, really like them both. Thunder Force 2, I think, gets an edge just because nostalgia and only nostalgia. Gate of Thunder is really good. NEC Super Graphics or Sega Genesis? Sega Genesis. NEC Super Graphics only has 5 games, unless you count the entire PC Engine library. Yes, I did make the custom labels for my EverDrive carts with the pirate skull and the criminal use only. That was back before that, because when I got those EverDrives, they were selling them board only. They didn't sell them with the shell. No, it's not Sega Lord X. It's not Mike. You guys will never guess. Does playing video game get you rock hard? No. It's me you're wanting to slap. Look, I'm sorry, just kidding. Just wanted to say keep up the awesome work. Well, it actually is you. Look, Joe, thanks. Love you, Joe. Thanks for the great content. Ooh, yeah. Someone really likes the ooh, yeah. Yes, the Blu-ray is region-free. In fact, the way I author them, I don't think I could restrict it to a single region. Not with Adobe Encore. Worst Rolling Thunder game, 1, 2, or 3? Probably, I don't know. I have to play more of 2 and 3. So right now I'm going to say 1. Where do you think all the Game Boy player discs went? Well, I don't know. I still have mine. I mean, they came with a Japanese case where you could keep it in, but it didn't come with the cardboard slipcover, I don't think. Do you like board games? You know, it's like I go over to my dad's house or relative's house or whatever, and for dinner, and they're always like, "Want to play a game?" I'm like, "Gotta go. Gotta feed my cat." I'll watch my dad's watching. Sorry, Dad. In my defense, I did stay and play a game once. EverDrives are original. Well, I'd prefer original if possible, but there's nothing wrong with playing them on an EverDrive or whatnot. Certainly a lot cheaper. I do not own any arcade 1-up machines. Favorite fighting characters in female games, and why am I? Because why not? Typical turnaround on an episode of GameStack is roughly 2 weeks. Doesn't it suck that Icheb got killed? Yes, it does. Sucks more that Manu couldn't play him, at least play him dying. Fan of Elemental Master? Absolutely. Fan of any mainstream sports? Only XFL. That's the only sport in the world. I'm kidding. You ever take a whack at programming, Joe? Yeah, I mean, like in high school, if that counts, and when I was going to web school, if that counts. It was cool making stuff for the Apple IIe or whatever it was in high school. Is your dad still alive? Yes. He couldn't be watching if he wasn't. But I don't think he's watching. If there are going to be any more playing with stacks in the future, Dave will likely be with them. In them. Yeah. Sorry, I can't talk. I need more Kroger brand seltzer water. Nothing satisfies like Kroger. Okay. Which next-gen console are you planning to get day one? Well, I don't know about day one, but I plan on getting them all. Or both. Because Nintendo hasn't announced the Switch U yet. You know, I never saw the Atari Jaguar in stores. I never saw it for sale ever. I don't think. If I did, I don't remember it. Dreamweaver? No, yeah. You're asking about HTML, right? No, I wrote that straight to the page. No tools, just the keyboard. That's why my websites all suck. I work at a Kroger store, and that's a damn lie. So, I don't know if you have an answer, Shauna, but here in Denver, the Kroger affiliate said on the news, they went on the news and said this: we have this giant warehouse full of stock. No need to worry. Just so much stock. It's just insane. No need to worry. Yet the stores are still empty. I don't know. Was a person who went on TV just full of it? Did I RGB mod all my consoles? Well, not personally, but I think all of them that I have are capable of RGB now, yeah. Or at least component. Component is more than fine. If it does component, I'm not going to worry about RGB modding it. Thank you, on Ed Etch. I can't pronounce that because every other letter is capitalized, so it's hard for me to read. But thank you for your 78 Hong Kong dollars. Oh, your truck orders are getting restricted. Why? Soon it's going to be like Mad Max, where people are like robbing trucks. Except I don't think they did that in Mad Max, but you know what I mean. Well, they kind of did. They robbed it for gasoline, though. What's the hardest game you own in terms of density and firmness? I don't know. Probably, well, definitely not a Neo Geo game because they wobble. There's lots of stuff that wobble around in there. How do I pick the music for the GameSack episodes? Well, after I get done editing, I just kind of just go listen to music. Hey, would this sound good here? Would this sound good here? Oh, oops, I used this in the last episode or a previous episode. That wasn't too long ago, so I won't use that. So I'll look for newer music. And I have a lot of game music. So basically, if it more or less fits and sounds good and I like it, I put it. Am I related to Orville Redenbacher? How'd you know? The red in my name? I think his really cool grandson. Anyone remember him? Thank you, Adam. Glad you enjoy them. What do you do for a living? Usually video edit, mostly now GameSack. Still do some video editing and other video production-y things. Like one of the most recent video production-y things I did, there was some convention in Denver. Can't remember what it was about, but a bunch of rich people. So I had to go down there with the camera and get shots of the convention hall and people having meetings because they were having meetings there and making $1 million deals probably, and interview some of them and stuff like that. And then at the end of the day, I gave up my footage and went home. Shantae or have I ever played Shantae or Mighty Switch Force? I don't think I've played Mighty Switch Force. I've played lots of Shantae. What do your parents think of your channel and your lifestyle? They both approve. My mom's now gone. My dad's still around though. I don't think he. I mean, he was at first kind of trepidatious. Like, you're not going to make much money doing that. And you never said that, but you know, you could kind of tell he was thinking that. You still have the GameSack sticker. I still have a bunch of those. Where are they? Still have a bunch. I mean, I have more than this. I mean, here are the GameSack stickers, but I have more than this somewhere. I have like a box full of them. So, send me a postcard and I'll send you one back. And you can get if you send a postcard to like my P.O. Box address, that's on the website, and then I'll just send you one back. Or two, because it's kind of boring just to put one in an envelope. How high is my IQ? 139. I don't know. It can't be over 100 though. That'd just be no. Have you ever broken a video game in rage? Yes. Sadly, yes. I have a story about that. That's on the episode called Our Gaming Memories, where I talk about Zelda Breath of the Wild. I broke more than the game. It's not a story I'm proud of. What part of Denver? Why are you trying to ping on my exact location? Denver is good enough. You are? You're making a GameSack MSU1 FMV for Super Nintendo? I want to see that when you're done. I don't know what you're doing with it, but that's interesting. I've always kind of been disappointed that we didn't get... I mean, maybe I've just been out of the scene, but we didn't get much FMV stuff for the MSU1. It's mostly been audio replacement stuff, which is good. But I really like what that one person did with the Road Blaster, aka Road Avenger. I wanted more of that. Send me whatever you want and I'll send you stickers. But just make sure I can see your address. But yeah, probably not a good idea to send me beer though, because I'm unlikely to drink it. You can send me Kroger seltzer water. The deliciousness of Kroger. I'm not telling you that story. You go watch the episode and tell that story. At least I assume that's what you're talking about. Hard ticket to Hawaii or The Room? I'd probably rather go to Hawaii. I'm already in a room. Unless you mean The Room, the movie. Or unless Hawaii is a movie that you're referring to, which I don't know what you're talking about. Do you ever play the VCDs on your Sega Saturn? Yes. In fact, I have all these movies on VCD for the Saturn. I don't know if you can really see these very well. I don't know what this is. Taken Episode 7, God's Equation. I don't know what that is. These are sent to me. But there's some movies in here, like Red Heat, Silence of the Lambs. I like how each movie is on 2 discs. Drunken Master. That's awesome. Dirty Dancing. My favorite. Actually, I've never seen it. I should watch it, though, because... just to know what it is. City of God. Can't be what I think it is. I have to watch that. But yeah, the Saturn really is the best way to watch a movie. Screw Blu-ray or 4K or even DVD or VHS. Saturn. The only thing that compares to it is Laserdisc. Arcus Odyssey is okay. It's okay. Was this? No. Thoughts on Sonic Mania? I think it's really cool. Yes, I did play the remake of Wonder Boy 3. I enjoyed that a lot. Although the music was a little, I mean, it's good, but it just seems so like light and fluffy. It's like, I don't know. I would have arranged it differently if I were in charge of that. But that's fine. It's fine. I'll live. I bought the game twice. Favorite chip? Honestly, what are they called? Like Totinos? I think just the regular chip. I can eat more of those than stuff like Fritos, even Doritos. Because even with Doritos, they're so good, but after you eat so much, they just the taste is just like too much. It's like, okay, I'm done. But with those Totinos, they barely have any taste, so you can just keep plowing them down. I really like those, and they're good for dipping if you like to dip. I will never release a VCD. I hate MPEG-1. Favorite Game Sack episode? I don't know. I really like the FMV one just because we were FMV. I like the WTF one. I like the one I just finished up a couple of days ago because it's so crazy. And there are actually clues that you can see on your screen right now about that episode, but I'm not going to point them out. But if you're watching the archived version of the stream and you've made it an hour and a half into the stream or however long it's been, then you might be able to see them. That's all I'll say. Tostitos. No, they're not too salty. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting the low salted version. I have to go and look. Totinos. Yeah. Tostino. I don't know. I don't know what they're called. I just know what they look like, and I just grab them and I put them in my cart. I'm like, next section of the store. Would you please do another controversial games episode? I might if I can come up with enough controversial games. J.O. I'm drunk and doing random stuff. What's up? I'm not much, man. I'm just sitting here streaming. What you up to? Doing random stuff, I bet. A complete review of all Toy Story games. Do you have a Super VHS player? Yeah. Are you or Dave 50 yet? Not yet. Probably won't be until we are. 8-track or cassette? Cassette any day. 8-track is dumb. I never liked 8-track. There's nothing even remotely good about it, honestly. Except that it loops. Say hi to Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Kevin Buttface. You were born in 1980 and that makes you sad? Why? Reel-to-reel. Reel-to-reel is cool. I've never used a reel-to-reel tape machine. Just reel-to-reel film. How did you end as such a smartass? I love it. And I don't know. It's just low tolerance for bullshit, I guess, and kind of makes you a smartass. Do you smoke the devil's lettuce? No. I like being in control. When were you a bore? Are you asking if I'm a bore? I am. 24-track reel-to-reel? Really, seriously, anything less than 78 tracks is just not worth my time. Devil's dandruff. It's the first time. I think that's the first time I've heard that. That's hilarious. Mexican or Italian food? Probably Italian. Any plans on a rhythm game episode? Probably not, because I think there might be some copyright issues. I wouldn't want to risk it. How's the Type R doing? It's still good. Yes, I still like it. I don't know what the hardest game of all time is on the NES. I just don't. I haven't even played every NES game. I've never seen Rich from Review Tech USA. Not in person anyway. I know who he is. I've seen his videos. No Laserdisc? Yeah, I have Laserdisc. Yes, I drive a Type R. I have a Type R. It's not that expensive. Were you a fan of HD VHS D theater? I had a friend who had a machine, but I never got to see it in action. He had, maybe one tape, and it wasn't hooked up, and so I never really got into it. Never had the chance. Do you still play Madden? Who doesn't? The original one? Absolutely. Actually, I don't. But if I do play it, that's the one I like, because that's, nostalgic. Nostalgia. IHOP is closed? That's no cool. That's not cool. I guess they didn't have the capacity to do takeout, maybe. I don't know. That's not cool. I don't like it when restaurants close down, because then that puts more burden on the grocery stores, because then you have to get all your food there. Gives you less options for food. That's not cool. I wonder if the IHOPs here are not doing that. I haven't checked. Do you think there will be a Shenmue 4? Good question. I do not know. I hope so. And I hope it's better than Shenmue 3. Not that the Shenmue 3 was bad. I just hope it's better. THX or Atmos? Two totally different things. One's a sound format, one's a set of specifications. It's like THX certification makes sure everything's up to par and meets certain guidelines. It's basically like regulations for an auditorium, and that your equipment and your acoustics and everything meet those guidelines. Atmos is a sound format. Do you have RC cars? No. I mean, I have an old one from when I was a kid, but I doubt it works anymore. I've got to throw it away. I do not smoke weed. Ever been to Mile High Comics? Yeah, I used to go there every week when I was younger to get the Transformers and G.I. Joe comic books and occasional Star Trek comic. I was never really into the superhero comics, because I know superheroes don't do a whole lot for me. I like the Hulk, though. But yeah, Mile High Comics, because they had like one in Buckingham Square Mall, which doesn't exist anymore. So that was always fun to go to. It was a small little store, but I think they've got like a huge store now. And I haven't been there. Have you cut down on any collections you have? No, I sold one game in like the last 5 years, and that was Shining Force CD on the Sega CD because I had two. Do you like Sunset Riders? Absolutely. Love it, especially the arcade. Then the Super Nintendo version, then a little lower, quite a bit lower actually, the Genesis version. What was your first computer? You mean that I could call my own, that I bought with my own money, or just my first computer? And the first computer for the family was like some sort of weird Macintosh thing. Can't remember the model. But like years after that, I bought a Macintosh. I don't know if it was a G3. I think it might have been a G3. That was the first computer I ever bought. Dream TV for SNES? I don't think I have. It sounds familiar, but I keep thinking of the PlayStation for some reason. I'll have to check that out. I assume that's Super Famicom, not Super NES. Dolby Vision or HDR10? HDR10 is perfectly fine. I don't know why there needs to be two standards. Can you beat Street Fighter 2 on continuing? Without continuing? Yes, if I lower the difficulty a little. Concerned about Corona? Not personally for myself. I am concerned about other people, obviously. I'm more interested. I find it really interesting because I don't know how it's going to like shape the world after it's all done. You know, like what we're all doing with social isolation now. What's resulting? What's resulting as a result is what I wanted to say, but I'm just gonna say that anyway. You know, like are other diseases or illnesses going down as a result? I think they probably are. How about overall deaths? Sure, people are dying of corona, but are the overall deaths overall? Sorry for using words again and again. That's why I write scripts and don't just sit at the microphone. Will they be less because everyone's social isolating and therefore getting fewer illnesses? And how will things shape the future? Like, will there be any practices that we keep doing going forward? Will social isolation still kind of be recommended, though not enforced? You know, if you can, just things like that. I just find it really interesting to think about how it's going to shape our lives in the future. And it will. I don't think it's a scam. I don't think coronavirus is a scam. Though, I know one person who has a pretty good conspiracy theory about it. Yeah, 7,000 deaths is a lot. But I'm talking like worldwide. Yeah, like impact on the environment, less pollution. I mean, obviously that's happening, less pollution. People will always die from the flu, yes, but are they getting less flu right now because we're doing social isolation? Things like that. Are people getting less colds this time, this year because of this? It's a scam and they lie about viruses. Man, I hated that one time I got a cold and it wasn't real. It was just fake news. It was a scam. But I kept blowing my nose anyway because I just believed I had it. I hate those fake viruses. Scams. Do you have a PC Engine Mini yet? No, I do not. I don't know why I did that with the T. Why I said not like that. Yeah, it is doing a number on the economy. But also another thing to think about is now a lot of people, not everyone obviously, but a lot of people and companies are finding ways to work from home that they don't necessarily absolutely have to be in the office 100% of the time. Will this lead them to being more lenient with people working from home? I don't know. It's stuff like that is like interesting to me. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, this is still going. I'll probably wrap it up in 15 minutes. Hey, Dason. I think it's Dason. Dason Graves. GameStack does not have publicly traded stock. That would be the day. Not that I'd ever do that. When's your next OC remix? You know, I submitted something, I want to say a couple of years ago. And, you know, I like OC Remix, Overclocked Remix. They're great. But they take forever to get to things. It's like, whatever. So I had to take it down from my server. And they never got around to it before I did that. I left it up there for like 2 or 3 months. That's true. Electricians, stuff like that can't work from home. Obviously, they are not being told to work from home. But like people who go into an office and sit on a laptop all day can possibly work from home. Did you work for Die Hard Game Fan? No. I was too busy living in Colorado while they were too busy existing in California. Had they existed in a place where I could access with my car, hell yeah, I would have worked for them. How sturdy is that door behind you? Sturdy enough. Sturdy enough. It can be open and closed, and it can survive both positions without damage. Kirk or Khan? I don't know. I'm kind of happy with the way that played out. You spelled Khan wrong, by the way, so I assume you're a Kirk boy. You have a favorite beer? I don't really. I don't really. I just don't. I know I don't like anything with IPA or whatever. I don't really know a lot about beers, so take that with a grain of salt. What's this? Rhythm music games again? You want me to get copyright flagged into oblivion? The Orville is better than Star Trek. The Orville is really good, and I hope their next season comes soon. I really like what they are doing over there on the Orville. Never missed an episode of that either. Corona actually isn't a bad beer. I mean, like I said earlier in the stream, I only drank it because my ex liked it, but it wasn't bad. I don't know if it's a girl beer or not. I don't really care. Sega Channel from Colorado. We did not have Sega Channel in Colorado, at least not up here. They may have down in the Springs. Of course, I've never had cable television my entire life. So, Joe, grow your beard full out? I don't think so. I get annoyed when it gets like too long. Pike or Kirk? I don't know. It depends. Discovery Pike? I really like Pike on Discovery. He should have his own show. Picard or Pikachu? Picard. Any game I only play via emulation? Probably a lot of arcade games. I don't know. I can't give you a specific example off the top of my head. Voltron or Power Rangers? Voltron. Though weirdly, I tried watching an episode of the original Voltron cartoon like a year ago, and it's like, yeah, I didn't like it as much as I used to, but I really like the actual toy Voltron. Power Rangers I never got into. That's a little after my time. Any advice for editing videos? Yes. You got to make sure to keep the viewer's attention, so don't hang on something too long. Don't be afraid to cut away. I don't mean jump cuts when you're talking. I mean like cut to the next thing. Keep the viewer's visual cortex interested. Did you ever call 1-800-USA Sega for tips? Absolutely. I called them a lot. I would talk to them for like half an hour each time at least. It was crazy. And they didn't mind. They were friendly. Joe say Tate, please. Just did. Do you ever watch Retrocore? I'm not sure what that is. Sounds like a game I have on the DS, Retrocore. I don't know. I'm sure I'm confusing that with something else. You like Animal Crossing? I never got into it. Could never get into it. Even though I don't mind doing mundane stuff in like Shenmue. Animal Crossing with little animals? I don't know. It's just not the same. Godzilla or Gamera? That's interesting that you asked that, because back when I was a kid, I was a huge Gamera fan. Just because he was a turtle. Or a turtle-ish. And I really liked turtles back then. So I was like, hell yeah, Gamera. He-Man or Thundercats? Definitely Thundercats. Do you remember the game show Video Power? Yes. Joe, say, Taito! There you go. Next time I should make the stream in Tate mode. Yeah, I really honestly don't watch a whole lot of YouTube. I know there's a lot of good stuff out there that I haven't seen, but I really don't watch a whole lot. How did you find out about Tony Hawk editing that Turbo Graphics video? I don't remember how I found out that. Because I was big into the Video Toaster back in the day. And I know he was a part of that. But he did the TurboGrafx stuff before that. And I think he mentioned it somewhere that he edited ads for TurboGrafx. And then Corey from My Life in Gaming uploaded one of those things, which I also have the original VHS copy of. And he uploaded it to his second channel where he has a bunch of stuff like that. And so I tweeted Tony Hawk. I was like, hey, did you edit this? And he replied, yes, I did. I thought that was so cool. Have you seen any of the Ultraman series? I have not. Well, maybe. I don't know. I've seen bits and pieces of it, not an actual proper episode, but just like bits and pieces of it, like as part of a full motion video in a game or something like that. Power Glove or PS Move? PS Move, definitely. Not that I think that is the greatest thing ever, but at least you can use it with the VR. It's really fun with VR. Neo Geo or Capcom? You mean SNK or Capcom? I mean, wow. Do I have to choose one? I'd probably choose Capcom. Do I watch anime? Actually, not really. Though I did watch Akira a couple of weeks ago just because I wanted to. Worst build quality on a video game console. I might give that a. I don't know if this is the definitive answer, but the worst build quality might go to the Jaguar. Transformers or G.I. Joe? I was always partial to Transformers. 3DO or CDI? Definitely the 3DO. I didn't like Resident Evil 7 in VR. Yeah, I found it. Yeah. People are saying it was super scary. I didn't find it super scary. I just found it kind of cumbersome. Because like a game, if it were shorter, it would be better. But the game is something that, for a VR game, is kind of long. So it's kind of, gets annoying. It wasn't scary, more scary for me in VR. Gamepad or arcade stick? It depends on the game. Best build quality? Tough to say. Joe, do you compose music at all? From time to time. Not any good music, though. No, I have not tried Zone of the Enders 2 in VR. That's something I would like to try, because that's a really good game. Final Fantasy VII Remake or Resident Evil 3? Probably Resident Evil 3. Hi, I am Indian Girl. I miss you. Chat with you. Video call open. I'll be there soon. CPS1 or CPS2 arcade games? That's a good question, too. They both have a lot of awesome games, but CPS2 is mostly like fighters or one-on-one fighters and beat 'em ups. And CPS1 has lots of games like, Ghouls and Ghosts and like before, well, they had Street Fighter too, but they had a lot of those non-fighting games too, which gives it a little bit more variety. So I might go with CPS1. Yes, Seema Kumari, I know you're an Indian girl. I know you miss you chat, and I know you video call open. I said I'll be there soon. Quit posting. Unless one of the mods can block that. All right, guys, probably about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to sign off. Next time I stream, I might actually stream a game because, like I said, I think I said earlier in the stream that I do kind of have a box that I can use for streaming that has Windows on it and a quick sync processor so the screen doesn't tear, which was the issue I was having yesterday when I was trying to get the stream working. So I might stream a game next time. I don't know what, though. I don't know when that will be. Do you have a ZX Spectrum or Amstrad CPC? Neither. Can you stream Castlevania? Sure, which one? Probably not, though, because I feel like I've given Castlevania enough love, and with one more episode to go, might be a little too much Castlevania. You should stream the Sega CD Wheel of Fortune versus Dave. And then some guy called Mike will be the third player, and then he'll just kick our ass. Space Harrier? If I streamed Space Harrier, the stream would be over in like 15 minutes. Doom Eternal? I do not have that. I could download it, but I don't know. I'll wait till all this goes away and I'll get a physical copy. Or I could just order it from Amazon, I suppose. First impressions of Streets of Rage 4. The artwork was kind of silly. I still think it's kind of silly. That doesn't mean it's going to be a bad game. I don't like judging a book by its cover. It's interesting that Yuzo is part of the music team. He's not doing all the music. But I'm definitely going to play it. Stream Ghosts and Goblins or whatever you're good at. I have streamed, I think I streamed Ghouls and Ghosts and I beat it. I'd have to check. I'm not going to try that. I think I did Monkey Ball too. Super Monkey Ball. Also, not 2. Any OC remixes that you ever wanted to do but weren't able to? Oh, a ton, because I'm just not skilled enough. My skill only goes so far. Same with my tools. Yeah, I am kind of bored. That's why I'm live streaming. Favorite controller, either the Saturn 6-button or the Genesis 6-button. Probably the Saturn. Super Nintendo's really good too. You can't go wrong with that one. What do you think of as blasphemous? What do you think of as blasphemous? What do you think of blasphemous? Well, that's a game. I thought you were asking what I thought was blasphemy. So, I don't know. I haven't played it. I almost tripped over my own dry-ass tongue because I ran out of Kroger seltzer water. And now my mouth is super dry, trying to say blasphemous. Where can I buy Dave's live album? You can't buy it, but you can download it from free on GameStack.net. What do you think is blasphemy? Nothing really. Have your own opinions. Just, don't force them on other people. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. It was awesome hanging out with you. If you stayed the whole nearly 2 hours, that's awesome. I appreciate that. But time to put an end to it and get something else to drink because I am parched. Running my mouth like that. So, see you guys.